Why was the video deleted in the beginning? Makes no sense.
Okay, so now we are live.
Okay.
Waiting for MuleChain to go live or what?
Yeah, link is open now.
Also of YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube. It has taken me to that YouTube page. It says MuleChain Project with a wallpaper.
From the invitation, you mean?
Yeah, not from the invitation, from the Zoom meeting.
Let me check from the invitation. If I go to one of those links. Yeah, so we are live, yeah? So we are waiting now 4 minutes before we start, huh?
Yeah. Oh, good.
And you can hear us clearly?
Yeah, clearly. Not studio quality, but clear.
Okay, but let's see, 1 second quickly. Can you see? Okay, I can see also. Okay, it works. Also on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's his audio.
Yeah, also mine was, I was able to hear it.
Should we share the screen and try to check if we can control the slides?
Yeah, you can show maybe the very first.
So, okay, so how do I do it? Like sharing?
Yeah, click on share.
The whole screen or?
Yeah, that's the whole screen. I mean, you can also just share a tab if you want, but if then later you will have a problem because you need to unshare and so on.
So now I'm sharing people.
Okay, how can we control now if I want to change the slides?
I think everyone has to take over the slide.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll share from our computer then. Okay.
Yeah, so let's wait 3 more minutes and I will check with Jeroen as well if he is joining.
Okay. And Ajay, you mentioned we can like take control on Zoom. Do you know how we can do that?
So there used to be presenter view, request remote control. So you can request remote control. I am doing that. So Amir will improve my remote control access, and then I can change the slides and even control his screen, whatever is.
Okay, so it will be like everyone who has a slide part will request control?
Yeah.
Okay, so currently I will decline, Ajay, okay?
You have declined for now?
Okay, so everyone will then request.
Oh, when our part. Okay.
I'm not sure how to do that request.
Request control.
You have to go in view options on the
Okay.
top and
top, yeah, got
request
it.
remote control. There might be some other option as well, but I only know this one.
Yeah, got it. And
Share click.
So it's only 3 people watching. I don't know. We got a 1 like, so it's probably one is me, one is Vibhor. Who else?
Where can we do request control, Ajay? Because
Okay. Let me do that. Request remote control. Yeah.
Should be already host. Or have you?
you are co-host.
But request control is only if you want to take over the screen. But if you want just to share, then there is no need to request control, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So should we do it like everyone share his screen?
yeah, sure.
I think that would be the best. Okay. Is Jeroen also on the call?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Hi, Jeroen. Can you hear us?
I'm weak. I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Perfect. So we just, yeah.
I have some audio in one of my slides, right? So are we sure that works in Zoom?
Yeah, most probably. So when you share the screen, you can check, there is a checkbox where you can check with audio.
Yeah, share sound. All right. Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Okay. So I think everyone is going to share a screen without taking control. So let's do it like, let me also close this now. Okay. Okay. So shall we get started? We are on time. We have already 8 people watching.
Yeah.
We can also wait maybe another minute. Let's see if maybe some more people will join. And then we can, anyway, it's a stream, so people can just go back. So, I mean, we can also start if we are on time. I mean,
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to kick it off, and then, you know, I guess everyone can do its introduction on the part when you take over. Hope that's fine for everyone.
Yeah.
I think we can start.
Yeah, let's start.
Everyone ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right, welcome everyone to this kickoff of the MuleChain project. So we have a very exciting content prepared for you today. And we are also very excited to release this MuleChain project in a beta open source release. So it will be accessible to everyone, every MuleSoft developer and user. And we will highlight throughout this presentation what the key value of the MuleChain project and its components are. So let me start with just a shout out to all the contributors who have been helping with shaping the vision and really articulating the value of a MuleChain project. So thanks everyone who participated here. We can see the names as well. Many of those are invited here today as presenters and will share their parts throughout the presentation. So we have 5 presenters for today. I think every presenter is going to introduce themselves in their slot when they are going to present their part. Basically, it's, as you can see, it's a pretty good mix of different roles from strategic to solution engineering, but also technical architect from the professional services team. So it has been really a great teamwork so far. And yeah, the results are also very, very nice, which we are going to present you throughout the agenda. So the topic for today is Jeroen is going to kick off the whole MuleChain project by introducing us to the concepts of autonomous agents and how the vision is, because this is very important. This has been the vision of the MuleChain project, which I'm going to introduce you then in the second part, the MuleChain project, what it is and how it has been built. Then Ajay is going to take you to the introduction of one of its components called MuleChain AI, and is going to explain what the capabilities are of this MuleChain AI actually connector. Then Michael is going to take over and will be highlighting the key features of MuleChain AI Connector and how you can use it. After that, Vibo is going to walk us through the lifecycle governance for the autonomous agents, which you will be then building using MuleChain AI and MuleSoft Anypoint platform. So that will be very interesting. And after that, Vibo will also share some use cases for AI and agents before we go then into a live demo. And also in the live demo, we have prepared a couple of live demos for you where we are going to show you an incident assessment agent in ServiceNow. We are going to show you also a Copilot we have built with a simplified Copilot UI, as well as how you can use MuleChain AI Connector to build knowledge stores by ingesting documents into the knowledge store, and where MuleSoft or the Mule runtime will be acting as a runtime for that specific knowledge store. So it will be an in-memory thing, but that's basically what we are planning to show you. Of course, everything will be live, so there might be some issues with the live demo and sharing of the screen, but we don't hope so. And after the live demo of the use cases, Michael is going to show us basically what are the assets, what is being published, how you can access the connector, how you can download it, how you can get started using it and contribute, of course, if you are willing to. And Ajay is going to talk about next steps. So we have also prepared kind of a competition where you can win prizes, but that's for later. And at the end, we will be looking throughout the stream on the YouTube chat to see if there are any questions which are there which can be answered. So, and after that, we will also see if there are topics we can discuss, open discussion for the team here. But let's get started. I will hand over to Jeroen to introduce the autonomous agents to us.
Yeah, so thank you, Amir. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so my name is Jeroen Rijzenvoort. I'm a strategic solution engineer in MuleSoft. I've been around in MuleSoft for 7 years and did a lot of discussion with Amir on where the future of integration would be going. And one of the directions is something that the market calls autonomous agents. So where are we in the AI journey, right? So this whole AI started years and years ago in what is now called Wave 1, the predictive AI. And currently we are all participating in this second wave, generative AI. But we're already seeing the first moves into this third wave. And the third wave is all about autonomous agents. And that's the focus of today as well, because we believe MuleChain will help you get going on experimenting and working with this third wave called autonomous agents. My role in this today is to explain a little bit what we believe autonomous agents are. If you've read a lot about it, you will hear nothing new. If this is a new concept to you, then this part is for you. If I talk about AI, I always start with this picture. And this is a picture of a brain in a jar. And this whole concept of brain in a jar was first described by Ross Mason. And Ross Mason is the founder of MuleSoft. And when somebody asked Ross Mason, what is the role of MuleSoft in AI? He said, well, MuleSoft is basically the spine that connects the brain to the rest of the world. Because if the brain is in a jar, it doesn't get any smarter. And even if the brain in a jar is Einstein's brain, it cannot do anything with that smartness unless it is connected to the rest of the world, right? So you will always need some sort of integration when you talk about AI, also when you talk about autonomous agents in the context of AI. Now, what is the concept of autonomous agents? And in essence, it's combining two different things. It's combining conversational with computational. And by that, I mean that if you interact with an LLM, it's about language, right? It's a large language model. The LLM tries to interact with you based on language, which is conversational. But at some point, the agent also needs to start to act on things, right? And then it suddenly, or not suddenly, then it becomes computational, right? So if you would have an agent that could create a complete travel journey for you, then initially it would have an interaction with you, but at some point it would need to book a hotel or book a taxi or whatever, right? And then it needs to be computational, right? Then it either needs to work or it doesn't work. So autonomous agent is combining conversational and computational. And I will go through a little bit of a use case to give a little bit more clarity on what we mean by that. So it all starts with a user, right, which is on the left side, asking a large language model, can you please do something for me? And the first thing that the agent or the LLM needs to do is to understand what the user actually wants, right? And if the agent is not 100% sure, it will probably ask something back. Can you please explain what you mean with this question? And then when the agent believes he has clarity on what is expected of what the agent is expected to do, it needs to generate a plan of execution, right? Because probably there are multiple steps that need to be taken in order to service the user. So it needs to identify which actions to take and probably in which order those actions need to be executed. And if for a certain action there are multiple options, then it needs to be able to discover those options and decide which of the options is the best option in this use case. And then it needs to finalize the plan, right? It needs to say, well, these are the steps that I'm going to execute. Now, if we look at the integration world today, there are some things that are not yet available that would be needed in order to do this completely automatically, right? So you need to have some sort of catalog of trusted services, right? Because the agent needs to discover the service and needs to be sure whether that service can be trusted, right? And it needs to understand the cost of those services and what the service levels are and how successful that service has been, right? So in order for the agent to actually start executing the plan, there's some additional stuff needed in our IT infrastructure, and that's what you see in the red part. So then it has generated and finalized the plan, and then it needs to execute the plan. And what you see in the graphic on the right side of the slide is that maybe some of those steps are computational, right? The circles, but maybe somewhere in the plan, it also invokes another agent, right? That then starts to invoke other computational building blocks. Since this is a combination of conversational and computational, you cannot always 100% predict what is going to happen. So in order to be able to later on have some sort of audit trail, there's a need for tracing the steps of all the individual steps, right? So that's something that we need to add to our platform. And then there's, of course, the thing about settling cost, right? If you have multiple services, then maybe you need to pay and there needs to be some mechanism to settle those payments, right? So stuff that is also not generally available today. And then the agent is able to deliver you a response, and maybe if there's more than one, right, it should ask for a decision. So that's in general how an agent would start to work. Now you could say, well, is this really autonomous, right? Because there's still this interaction between the human and the agent. I believe that initially there will be a lot of back and forth until either the agent or the user are confident enough that they can execute the plan without human intervention. And then you may get to a use case that I have on the next slide, right? Then without being asked, the agent would see, for instance, in the Workday system, that my vacation days are expiring. It can look in my calendar and see that I've made very long days. It may have access to my Apple Watch and sees that maybe my sleep wasn't as good as it should be, right? And then from a sales perspective, it looks all very nice. There's no other colleagues going on vacation. So it presents me with 3 different holiday options for me to choose from, right? So in this case, the LLM has basically been completely autonomous, right? The agent has done all of this, and the only thing I need to do is to decide on which holiday I want, right? And then it needs to execute that plan once more. But what you see in this image, right, is that we need to be able to integrate to Workday. We need to be able to integrate to Google Calendar, to Apple Health, to a CRM system, right? And that's how we see how conversational and computational things start to work together in this autonomous agent scenario. Now, I've sketched that some things are still missing in well, basically integration and API management, and that's where this whole LangChain and MuleChain project comes in, right? So this is the high level thing of what we want to do, and now we're going to dive into how that is actually being supported with MuleChain. But before I do that, let's go back to Ross Mason. So Ross Mason had this joke that he told at a lot of conferences, and the joke goes like this: 2 APIs enter a bar. and then nothing happens, right? Because two APIs entering a bar, they don't know how to interact with each other. Now, if you take this to the next level and think about my autonomous agent scenario, then the future could look like this. Auto discovery of APIs. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Amir to really get into the MuleChain project. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeroen. So that was really amazing. And for the attendees, this presentation has been throughout the development of MuleChain project. The vision, our North Star, we are not yet there, but we can already feel that what we have built is able to be really autonomous, and as Jeroen described, has this independent way of acting to identify what is needed, create a plan, then execute it. So we are going to show you during our demos some use cases where you can see that autonomous part. But before we go there, let's quickly dive into the MuleChain project. So what is a MuleChain project? And as this will be the open source beta release, we are going to talk about anything kind of, first of all, what the project is, but also what to expect, because we don't want to release something which has not set the right expectation. So first of all, we wanted to build actually exactly what Jeroen was presenting, a new way of designing, building, and managing autonomous agents. And when you look into the Anypoint platform, MuleSoft is the #1 platform for APIs and integration, and we can manage the end-to-end lifecycle from design until deployment, and everything in between, of course, with security. But if we dive a little bit deeper into the technology, we have a Java runtime. And the Java runtime is also very powerful. It can not only help you to build integration, but also you can build smaller Mule apps on that runtime. And that was our initial thought, to release something which can allow you to build agents running on the Mule runtime. Of course, having the access to all those LLMs, to vector spaces, and to everything maybe you have built in the Anypoint platform, in the composability, all those things should be accessible to that specific Mule app we refer here as an AI agent workflow or an AI agent app. So what is a MuleChain project? So MuleChain project started with our first solution, and at that time it was not called MuleChain project, it was just MuleChain as a connector. But the very first connector was about making sure we can connect to all those different LLMs. You have OpenAI, you have Azure OpenAI is a different aspect, you have Mistral AI, it's a different kind of LLMs which you can connect to, and when you connect to those LLMs, you always have to understand basically how their API structure looks like. And when at some point you have built something, an agent workflow, and you want to switch to another LLM, that's the challenge, because then you have to rewrite basically the agent workflow. And with MuleChain AI, which is the connector, we want to provide an interface to unify the communication to LLMs and vector spaces along AI services. What are AI services? AI services are all those kind of services which enables an AI agent to be autonomous. Like you have a capability called tools, where you can hand over a toolkit to the AI agent, represented currently as a JSON file, and then this AI agent is able to use this toolkit whenever it has the necessary to use it. Whenever it cannot answer a question based on general knowledge, it will use those tools. So that was our first driver. And during the last 3 weeks, it changed a little bit. So it is just now one of the components we are going to release. It is a main component, of course, but there will be additional supporting components like a MuleChain web crawler. So this is also has been already POC. The POC was successful, so we are going to have here a small connector which can help you to extract data from any website and all its subsequent links and provide it to you. And this data can then be used either in embeddings, or you can use it in the combination with the MuleChain AI connector. and make a use to build your AI agents. There are additional capabilities we would like to introduce, but all of what is coming now is not set in stone. So these are the two solutions where we see we will focus on. We have 3 additional ones, but that has been, during the team discussions, we have been talking about it. A few has been highlighted now as yellow, but still it could be something we will look into it. But the first 2 are the main capabilities for the MuleChain project, and of course, having the feedback from the field, this will be shaped more to your feedback and your requirements. So it's important for us to get your feedback based on the solutions we are providing in this MuleChain project. And of course, all these connectors and capabilities will have tools and examples which will guide you to use it in a way which is easy. Just plug and play, download a new example, install it, and run it. It should be very easy to understand and use for you. So that's what we will also provide as part of the MuleChain project. So what is a MuleChain AI Connector? We have been talking about it for now. What we are going to do is we are going to support the 5 LLMs, OpenAI and Mistral, along with Azure, OpenAI, Llama, and Anthropic. That will be the first 5, and I think we will not add in the near future more. The plan is to add, of course, additional LLMs, but we want to make sure that these 5 which we have released have a certain quality. So we will focus in the upcoming releases also on the quality, and you will see why. Because it is already stable, but we want to make sure we get the right feedback from the field. You test it out, and you can then help us improve these 5 before we go to the next one. And this will help us to really build agent workflows, which later on Michael is going to talk about what are the different types of agent you can build. But we want to bring the experience of MuleChain into the Anypoint Studio and ACB, of course, and Anypoint platform in general. So you can connect to any preferred LLM from these 5, build your workflow, feed into your integrations and connectivity, which is provided by MuleSoft, and make use of this composability we have been building the last few years. So you can now benefit from all those composable assets you have created in MuleSoft and hand it over to AI to use it in a secure manner and serve your users with the right data and right services. So also here, just quick remark, I think many of you know it already. So we have on LinkedIn a MuleChain project, which you can join. We are going to share different use cases there, demos, and also best practices, how to use the connector. So this is something we are going to use, as well as the YouTube channel where you are live now, where we will also continuously building demos, use cases, and share those openly with you. Some considerations, and that's very important, which I would like to highlight. So this is an open source project. MuleChain project is an initiative which is not an official initiative from Salesforce or MuleSoft. So there is no support from Salesforce and or MuleSoft when you face any kind of issue. So the team today here in this call is mainly responsible for all the capabilities, features, and implementation. We will provide feedback. We will be as fast as possible to answer your requests, but we rely also on your support, on your feedback, feedback from users who have used MuleChain already. So it will be more a community effort to make this successful. So that's very important along the beta release. I think here we want to set the expectation right. It's not that we are releasing something which is unstable. No, it is not production ready, and that's why we consider it production ready, because we have not tested it out in a production kind of setup. We built agents, we deployed it in the Anypoint platform. We were able to access them. There were no downtime of those agents, but we were not like the mass user who were using those agents on hourly basis. So we were using them on daily basis, but not on on a high scale. So that's where we take this solution. It's not production ready, and it will be, of course, when you have tested it out and you can provide feedback on this. We will continue to innovate and make sure that the solution can be scaled, which is very likely because we are using all the framework capabilities of the Anypoint platform. It's running in the runtime of the MuleSoft environment. So it is likely to be scaled, but we have not tested out. So that's important. From the IDE point of view, we tested it for Anypoint Studio in detail extensively. So that's something where we can say confidently, check, it is working. Also extensively, we have tested it on OpenAI and Mistral. Here we can confidently say it is working. For all others, we have tried with trials and so on. Access was possible, but that's not something we are going to guarantee. It depends really on the community feedback. Same for deployment. Cloud Hub 1 we deployed on Cloud Hub 2 as well as on-premise standalone environment, while as Cloud Hub 2 has been the environment where we have deployed it quite a lot. Sometimes when the app was large, having 2 to 3 LLMs configured, plus additional system connectivity from ServiceNow, Jira, all packaged into one app, then we faced the issue that no larger apps more than 100 megabytes can be deployed on Cloud Hub 1, but that wasn't the case on Cloud Hub 2 and nor on the standalone runtime. The next one is critical, and unfortunately, and thanks to Jeroen for really highlighting it to us. Currently, the first release we are going to push today supports only Java 8 runtime. Means when you download the examples, when you install the connector, make sure you are using the Java runtime, which is embedded of version 8. We have already further developed the connector, which is going to support Java 17. I've tested it. Jeroen is testing it also in parallel. But that's the current expectation we want to set before we go into all these nice topics and show you what is possible. And to make this project successful, again, as I mentioned already, we rely on the community. We rely on your feedback. And if you want to go further and be part of the team, let us know. Michael is going to show us how you can contribute, how you can become an active contributor in the GitHub org. But that's the considerations we wanted to share before we now go into some exciting topics. All right, Ajay, I think now it's time to introduce the MuleChain AI Connector. Over to you.
Thanks, Amir. I'll share my screen. If you can stop sharing. Thank you. So, hi everyone. I'm gonna introduce you to MuleChain AI, our connector. And this is the real era of autonomous agents, as Jerome and Amir talked about it. So yeah, this is the MuleChain AI connector. It allows you to interact with any LLM you want, any vector store you want to implement your AI agents, your LLM apps. And it is optimized for a MuleSoft application. The connector is itself built on the Mule SDK. So using this connector, you can use it in any project you want, any API in any layer. You can use this connector, and you can use it in along with the pre-built connectors that MuleSoft provides as well. And of course, you get the option of implementing AI agents, not only AI agents, but AI services. If you want to build RAG use cases, you can do that. You can create tools, you can create chains, and with LangChain for Java under the hood, we support all the capabilities, all the frameworks that you need, right? Instead of trying everything from scratch, you get a ready-made project that you can just insert in your existing projects and build those use cases around generative AI. And with our July 1st release, we are supporting these LLMs for now. OpenAI is widely known. It started the whole AI revolution with ChatGPT, Mistral AI, Microsoft Azure's OpenAI, Anthropic, and Ollama as well. So if you want to run the LLMs in your on-prem server or in your local, you can use that as well. And of course, with our roadmap, we'll add more LLM support. So what does MuleChain AI helps you with, right? So it allows you to build, as I was talking about, not only agents, but all the use cases that you can think of around generative AI, plus predictive AI as well. So of course, you can connect to any LLM with Ollama support as well, and also any vector store. You can also load documents for your RAG use cases using document loaders. You can do prompt engineering using dynamic prompt templates. You can use persistent memory for your chat history, for your conversational history, and then use that as well. And we will also provide some sort of dynamic tools where we will try to link the anypoint exchange capabilities, API manager capabilities of the anypoint platform with this MuleChain AI as well, which will allow you to leverage the existing APIs, the existing assets that you have already developed in your anypoint docs. Now, I'll not go into detail of each and every one, but yes, you can do all the things that you can imagine you want to do with any framework, any LLM framework that you would have wanted to use in MuleSoft. So yes, you can build all the chains you want to build with the help of LangChain 4J behind the scenes. And this is how it looks like, the MuleChain AI connector in Anypoint Studio. As Amir rightly said, we have tested it only for Anypoint Studio for now. So this is how it looks like, just like any other custom connector with a very interesting logo. And these are the operations that you will see in this release, starting from agent definition, chat answer prompt, and then from embeddings to tools that you can use to create autonomous AI agents. With that, I'll hand it over to Mikhail to walk you through the highlights of the MuleChain AI.
All right. Thank you very much, AJ. So before I start, let me just shortly introduce myself. I hope you can see me here. I am in Zurich with Amir. So my name is Michael Bosniak. I'm part of the MuleSoft professional services team. And I'm going to focus in the next couple of minutes, about 10 minutes, on really the highlights of the MuleChain connector. So before I joined this project, so a couple of weeks ago when Amir approached me and asked me if I'm interested and what I think about the project, to be honest, I was kind of skeptical because I didn't really understand the true potential of the connector. I thought, why should I use a connector if, first of all, there are already connectors available, developed by the community, but those connectors are specifically built for an LLM. For example, there is a ChatGPT connector and so on. And even that, I thought, every LLM has already API specifications. I can just build a MuleSoft application, make an HTTP request, and consume that API and use that LLM. There is no need for a connector. But only after I really saw about the features and the demos that Amir showed me, I understood what the potential is. And this is what I want to focus on. I want to focus on really the key features, the amazing things that the connector will offer, and the type of agents that basically can be built using MuleChain AI. So most of you have already worked with some kind of or used chatbots. Some of the chatbots are maybe based on AI. Some of the older chatbots are not based on AI at all, but they all need some kind of input, which can be human input. It can be any other input. So it works in a request-response pattern, okay? And this is what we call API-driven agents or composed agents. From a MuleSoft perspective, when we talk about a composable business, this is exactly what we are aiming for. This is what we want our customers to achieve, to become composable. And composable means that every time they build a new asset, which can be an API, it can be an integration, it can be anything that has been developed internally, we want the business to publish that asset in a repository, for example, in MuleSoft Exchange, and make it discoverable to all the developers and business units so that they can see what has been built already and they can reuse it instead of constantly reinventing the wheel and losing time and wasting resources, right? So the goal of every business is reuse what you have built, save time and speed up the way you innovate in your business. So the most common agents, or one of the common agents that you can build using the MuleChain framework, is the composed one. So that can be an agent that is part of an API of an integration. You expose it, publish it to Exchange, and then you can use it. That could be, for example, a chatbot that you use using human natural language. Okay, I can ask the chatbot, hey, where are you from, or what's the capital city of Switzerland, and it would immediately respond. That's one way of building agents. But those are not fully autonomous. They always need some kind of input. But then you can also build scheduled agents, and scheduled agents are fully autonomous. They don't need any interaction at all, no human interaction. They will run, for example, once a day, once a week, or at a particular time. You can just use a scheduler for that. And they'll run fully on its own, autonomously. I can give you one example. I, as a business, for example, I care about the feedback that I receive from my customers. And I want to build an agent that runs once a day, goes through all the emails that have been received or that the customers have sent to my business, and maybe all the tickets that have been created that contains feedback. So I can say, agent, every morning at 8 o'clock or every evening, let's say, go through the emails and tickets, make a sentiment analysis. This is one of the operations that our connector will offer. Do a sentiment analysis and let me know how much of the feedback is positive, for example, and then generate a report with the key stakeholders of the company. So the agent would go through the emails and the tickets and say, okay, 60% of the feedback has been positive or was positive, 30% was neutral, 10% is negative. And additionally, the agent can then give the business some recommendations on the top 3 mentioned negative feedback. Everything fully automated. There is no manual work necessary anymore to do this, because this is a lot of effort if you want to do it manually, right? So that's a scheduled agent that can, for example, be configured using the MuleChain framework or the MuleChain AI Connector that we are releasing today. You can also build event-driven agents that run, for example, every time a new email has been generated or a new file has been generated somewhere on an FTP server, and then you want an agent in real time to trigger a workflow, do some kind of analysis, and do whatever is required. Okay, that's a typical event-driven agent. And then you also have batch agents that can process a large set of data and distribute it intelligently, for example, to multiple consumers. Those are the types of agents that can be built. And this really helped me also to fully grasp the potential of the MuleChain AI Connector. Not just the MuleChain AI Connector, but of course also the other ones that are work in progress. So when working with the MuleChain Connector, okay, and you want to import it in Anypoint Studio, it works like every other connector. You just download it or you add it as a dependency in your project, in your POM file, and then you have to configure a basic connection or a basic configuration. What you can see here in this slide on the right side are 3 parameters that need to be provided. The very first one is called LLM type, okay? So as already mentioned by Amir, by AJ, with MuleChain, we want to have a connector that can communicate, talk to any LLM. That's one of the main features that we want to offer. So that the MuleChain connector becomes an abstraction layer, and all the complexity that you have as a developer for, if you want to, for example, because I thought in the beginning, let's just do an HTTP request. Of course, this works, but then you need to have that know-how for every LLM. You need to read the specification. You need to understand, how do I make the HTTP request? what should be the structure of my message, and so on. So it takes a lot of time. And with the connector, we can really remove the complexity, completely hide it, and just take over and let the user just configure the LLM type, provide the necessary parameters, like, for example, API key, and MuleChain will take over the rest. Okay, so LLM type is the first one where we support today 5 LLMs. Config type is the second parameter that needs to be provided when working with the connector. And this, you have 2 options basically. The very first option is to choose environment variables. That's the traditional way that most of you have used when configuring a connector. An environment variable, for example, could be the MuleSoft environment, which can be equals to dev, integration, prod, whatever. So that means every time you start your application, you need to provide it as a runtime argument, okay, as a property. So you can use those environment variables. The second option is, especially if you have a lot of parameters like API key, then maybe the model information, and many, many more parameters that any LLM can accept, then you can say, I do not want to use environment variables, but I want to provide a config JSON file. So the config JSON file will just include a JSON object with all the parameters added as key value pairs. Okay, so API key would be the key, and the value would be basically was API key and the value, everything added in the JSON file. That's the second option. And if you use the JSON file, which can be put external in a database, or you can also put it inside of a MuleSoft application, you need to provide a path, okay, so that the runtime knows where can it get the configuration file in order to communicate with the LLM. So that's how you, on a high level, configure the connector. Coming to the next slide, which is AI agent tools, that was for me the most exciting feature, which where I really said, oh wow, I really want to join this project. That's so exciting. And that's the agent tools, or what we also call the tool set. As I've also already briefly mentioned, the goal is that every business becomes composable. And composable means all the assets have been published to Exchange and very well documented, okay, so that they can be discovered. And this is what you see here. On the left side is a snapshot or a screenshot of Exchange with multiple assets. You can see system APIs related to SAP, to Microsoft, to Salesforce, and so on. And with the MuleChain AI agent tools, we want to make sure that those assets can be used in the MuleChain connector. So every time you work with an agent, and you know that the agent cannot answer that question because it has not been trained with that, it's not public know-how. If you're talking about internal information like information that is stored in your backend system, then we want the agent to have access to those assets and retrieve that information dynamically and autonomously from those assets, okay, without any additional configuration. You do it just once. And this is what you see on the right side. That's a tools configuration. I can maybe go to Visual Studio Code if I have it here somewhere and show you how this exactly looks like. So that's an example of a configuration of a tool config JSON. And you can see here there are multiple assets that have been published to Exchange, just shown here again in a JSON as a JSON object or a JSON array. For example, I know here there is an action called execute post request for API endpoints that is related to SAP ECC with a description what this API is all about, okay? And all these assets are basically stored here in this JSON file. We will provide it to the MuleChain connector as an additional configuration. And now MuleChain has public know-how that it has been trained with, and it has internal know-how, which it can retrieve dynamically in real time, okay? So let me go back again to the slides and give you an example how this would work, how this could look like, okay? And this example, which I show you here on a high level now, will be shown as a demo by Amir, okay? So it will be very, very exciting. So really, if you like it, hit the like button in YouTube and just make sure that you stay until the end because you will see an amazing demo by Amir. So here what you see on the left side is an agent. a simple agent that uses the MuleChain connector under the hood, but it's an UI. It's a chatbot. And this chatbot introduces itself as, hey, my name is Max the Mule. Those are my skills. I can retrieve information from SAP, from Salesforce, if you want to know account details. If you want to know how many leads have been generated today from HubSpot, I can also do that. So that's basically how the chatbot would introduce itself. On the right side, you see a graph what happens under the hood whenever you use the chatbot. So there are two routes. Route A is the green one, which is the default route. Let's say you ask a question. What is the capital city of Switzerland? Okay. So the LLM, if OpenAI or Mistral or Llama whatsoever, has already been trained with that data. It's public data. It knows, okay, the capital city or the capital of Switzerland is Bern. It's not Zurich like most of the people think. It's Bern. So it already knows that. So it will pick the route A, which is the green one. It has been trained. It knows it. It will immediately respond. So far, so good. So now I will ask another question, which is basically an internal question. Okay, so I can now ask, hey, for a specific product with the ID 400, 110, can you let me know what is the current stock in SAP, or what is the current stock at the moment? Because I'm maybe part of a support team. And now the agent or the connector will first of all try to pick the default route. It will find out, oh no, I do not have access to this information. So it will autonomously and automatically go through the MuleChain toolbox, go through that configuration JSON file, which I've already shown you, and identify which endpoint should be called. What's the best approach, or what's basically the endpoint that should be invoked in order to retrieve that information. So it will pick route B, see, okay, there is an API called check inventory from SAP ECC, which can be a legacy system. And it will retrieve that information and respond with the details, as you can see here in the chatbot screenshot. It says, yes, the inventory detail for that specific product is, we have a quantity available 250, okay? And this will be shown as a demo later so that you can see it in action. Here, just a screenshot of the SAP ECC on the right side. A legacy system uses very complex interfaces like BAPIs or iDocs. But because here as a business have already built a system API, the MuleChain connector can easily consume it and make that information available through natural language to the user. There is no need to know how to work with Postman, how to make an API request. You use natural language in order to retrieve data from your backend systems. And this is really, really useful. So now we can go one step further. And now we can say, okay, thank you very much, but now give me also additional details for an order with the number 300. Again, it will try to pick the default route. It has no access to it. It will go through the toolbox, find the right API it's called, and it will then call an API. This time it's SAP for HANA, which is a more modern system, will find it and respond with that particular information, okay? So that's how dynamically it could work, and that's for me personally the most amazing feature that the MuleChain connector offers. Okay, my last the last part, and then I will hand over to Vibor. So in order for this to work, as I've already explained, we need to provide this JSON file, this JSON config tool. Okay, but our vision is that there is no need to provide this tool in the future because your assets anyway have been published already in Exchange. So if they are well documented, we can simply tell the connector or the LLM, use the platform API, get the assets which are on Exchange, and find the best possible API or the asset that you need to call to retrieve that particular information. So now you have a MuleChain connector that can dynamically get or identify and discover assets that you have published in Exchange and make it available to the user through natural language, okay? So that's basically the highlights about the MuleChain connector. Handing over to Vibor with the next topic.
Thank you, Mihail. And guys, hope it was exciting to see how these AI agents actually work. And now you might be intrigued to see how or what the life cycle of these autonomous agents are. So like any other software products, uh, autonomous agents have life cycle too. So let's have a look at the life cycle of an autonomous agent. So it all starts with designing the agent specifications. So you need a tool set to actually design these specifications for your agents. You need to have like the inputs and outputs specified for your agents. And then you would also need a capability to prototype and mock your AI agents as well. And then once you have prototyped and mocked the request and response from your AI agents, you would be needing a capability to share the prototype from these AI agents with your team as well, so that you can collaborate on these AI agents. And then you should have the capability to build out these agent workflows as well, so that you can add an orchestration logic, like from what backend system your AI agent should get the data from. And then you should have the capability to test these AI agents as well before deploying it to your production or the higher environments. And then you need to have flexibility to deploy these AI agents as well. If you are a banking customer, you would be deploying it on your premise within your secured network, or if you are a customer which prefers an iPaaS to be deploying your AI agents, you should be having capability to do so as well. You should be able to secure your interactions with these autonomous agents with policies like toxicity or bias detection or securing of the PI information. You should be able to easily operate these agents, identify any problems on these agents. So monitoring of the agents is also a crucial capability in the life cycle. And then eventually you want to evangelize these agents, what you have created internally or externally within the organization. So this is basically the life cycle of an autonomous agent. But you might be thinking that I would need so many tools to actually implement this life cycle of an AI agent. But that's not true. You just need one. You need Anypoint platform to manage and maintain the end-to-end life cycle of an autonomous agent. Let's see how. So with Anypoint Design Center, you would be able to easily design your agent specifications. Whether you're a prompt engineer and you want to design your prompt in such a way that you want good request and response, you can do that through a graphical user interface easily with Anypoint Design Center. And you need not know any coding languages like RAML or OS specifications to generate your APIs. It will automatically be done by the Anypoint Design Center. Once you have these autonomous agent specifications designed, the next step comes is you want to prototype and mock. So with a inbuilt mocking service on the Anypoint platform, you can easily test out or prototype and mock your agent before even starting to implement it, so that you can get the feedback from the field or the consumers of your agents that this is what they are looking for as a request and response from the agent. Now, once you have done that, the next step comes is sharing of the autonomous agents. Maybe you work in a group where in the team where you share the autonomous agents with your team members so that they can reuse these autonomous agents for specific purpose. So you can use Anypoint Exchange to do just that. You can share the tool configuration files with your team members so that you can easily collaborate on a particular autonomous agent design. And then the next crucial step comes is building out these autonomous agents. So you might be wondering, what tools or new technologies I have to learn to actually build out these autonomous agents. Well, if you are a MuleSoft developer already, you don't need to learn anything new. You can straight away use these configuration files and the connector that we have created to interact with the AI agents. You can easily build out your agent workflows here. And today we have an amazing demo set up down the line to show you how we have created some agents on the MuleSoft platform to do just that. But not that you don't need to learn any additional technology to actually create these workflows for your autonomous agents. And then a crucial part which organizations don't think about is about testing. So testing these autonomous agents, whether you have the right level of toxicity or bias detection, or whether you are not sharing any of your organization's sensitive data to outside world. So testing that out for your agent is absolutely crucial. And with Anypoint Studio's MUnit framework, you can do just that. And that too in a GUI based drag and drop format. You don't need to write any specific test cases. It's all drag and drop based so that you can easily test out the autonomous agents here. And then the next step comes is deploying. You might be wondering how I can deploy these autonomous agents and where to deploy these autonomous agents. So the good news is the Anypoint platform provides you with Runtime Manager, and by using it, you can deploy these agents, whether if you are a banking or financial services customer, you want to deploy these agents on your premise, so it can be deployed on premise using the platform. If you want to use the shared iPaaS or a private iPaaS version of the platform, you can deploy these AI agents there. And a good thing about the platform is everything is connected seamlessly with each other through a secured network. So you need not worry about setting up the connectivity and managing and maintaining that connectivity. The platform would help you to do just that, to deploy these agents and to have secure communication with your backend systems so that your IT teams are sure that whatever agents you're deploying are within their governance limits. And then you want to secure your autonomous agents as well. As I mentioned, you do not want your AI agents to share confidential information outside the organization. So Anypoint platform secure interactions or the API manager would let you do just that. It lets you apply policies on these AI agents. So these policies some of the policies comes out of the box on the API management. Plus, some people have created some really creative policies by using our policy development kit, which is available to all people out there to create these policies. So some of the policies like toxicity detection, bias detection, or even securing the PII information are already created and can easily be reused to secure your autonomous agents. And then as your organization grows, as you start to adopt more and more these autonomous agents, you might find it difficult to manage or visualize the agents. So where are my agents, how they're deployed, which systems are they interacting with? IT needs a concrete view of what agents you have deployed in the organization and which systems it's interacting with. And Anypoint Visualizer lets you do just that. It gives you a single view of all your applications and systems and even the autonomous agents deployed on your system so that you can have a clear view of what's happening with these agents and you can have a secured and governed way of managing these autonomous agents. And then load might increase on your agent sometimes there would not be much load. So you need to actually a place where you can monitor these agents easily. So Anypoint monitoring does just that. You would have a really great dashboard to tell you what are the request and response volumes, what's the output throughput like, the response times from your agents, so that you can easily scale these agents horizontally and vertically to meet your organization's requirements. And then last part which comes is about publishing and reusing these autonomous agents. Let's say you have created an amazing agent in your organization and you want to share it with everyone. You can use Anypoint Experience Hub to document and share these agents within your organization or even externally to your organization, to your third-party partners, or even open it up to the world so that they can really use these agents to interact with your systems. So net with Anypoint platform, you would be able to manage and maintain the end-to-end life cycle of these autonomous agents without learning any new technology. So it's like managing and maintaining your API ecosystem. Similarly, you can do it with agents as well. Now, as we have seen the end-to-end life cycle of these agents, let's focus on some of the great industry use cases where you can use these agents. So let's start with retail use cases. One of my customers asked me where can we or the autonomous agents be of great use in my retail landscape. So essentially, the use case that they were working on was personalized shopping assistant. So it was a conversational AI bot which was integrated with their e-commerce platform to assist the customers in real time, basically providing them with personalized product recommendation and answering their queries and even facilitating their transactions. Because let's face it, we even if we have some great UIs, it would be sometimes very difficult for people to find out where they need to click next to actually do that transaction. But if the bot is there, it will detect that someone is stalled on a page and it will react quickly on that particular request and help the person to complete that transaction. So what are the benefits for the organization here? It enhances customer experience. It increases the sale through personalized suggestions, and it reduces the cart abandonment rate. Because if someone is stalled on a UI because of an issue, the AI can take over and guide the person to the right place to complete that particular order. As a result, increasing the revenue for the organization. And an interesting one on the utility space, we all have been in our life in one way or the other interacted with these utility management companies, be it your water bill, phone bill, gas bill, or whatever. And we have our issues. We call up the call center and they hang up on us for a long time. So in this particular use case, based on what inputs you provide, the AI agents would easily see your information in the system, and based on that, it can provide you personalized suggestions to actually help you out even before contacting a real person. So the benefits are improved customer service efficiency, reduce call center burden, and enhances user engagement. And even I've seen creative things like providing energy saving tips to people. So it's beneficial for the planet and beneficial for the customer as well. And there are some really great use cases on the healthcare space as well. So AI agents can provide patient with medical information. It can help them with their appointment scheduling. It can help them with even the medication reminders, and then just to check their symptoms even before talking to a healthcare professional, so that it reduces their time to actually interact with the healthcare professional. Another use case that we see in the healthcare industry is about patient intake and triage system. We have all been there, we have all seen that how difficult and time consuming process is to go to a hospital and to get the proper appointment. But by putting AI agents in that mix, it can actually assist patients in the initial intake, you can ask questions to people to collect some information like their symptoms, their medical history, and even before the patient sees the healthcare provider. So what it does, it reduces the waiting time that you have to spend in the hospital, and it ensures the critical information is gathered efficiently. It prioritizes cases based on urgency because humans might do some errors in prioritizing these cases. But the AI with a fixed set of rules would be more efficient in this particular use case. And then there are some comprehensive use cases in all other industries as well. So for example, in the banking industry, you can do automated fraud detection based on what frauds or the attacks happen on the bank. So using the AI agents to program and identify just those attacks and identify so that it gets rectified at the right time. In a manufacturing space, you have supplier and inventory management. You can make these processes more efficient so that you reduce stockouts and overstock situations. In the telco space, again, when someone calls about their billing inquiries and payments, it can reduce the volumes of calls on the call center, and it can actually reduce the time for people to resolve their issues. And then in automotive industry, it can help OEMs to actually do vehicles predictive maintenance and support. So for example, if you're driving your car, you have an error and you have autonomous agent on your vehicle, it can proactively identify the issue and contact the nearest support provider so that your issue gets fixed quickly. And there are other variety of use cases as well. But seeing is believing. And in the next section, I would hand it over to Amir to show some of the use cases demos here. So handing it over to Amir.
Thank you, Vibor. Amazing what you can do now with the end-to-end lifecycle and the use cases. So thanks for that. And now let me come to the live demos we have prepared. Also, just to set the expectation, as we have only around about 15 minutes left, we will do it slowly so you get a picture how you can build those agents. So what we are going to show you is some examples of, we said agents, but it should be demos. So the very first will be a ServiceNow incident assessment agent, which is of type evented. This agent focuses really on whenever there is a new incident in ServiceNow, it will provide an AI summary by assessing all the data of the incident and suggest next steps for the service agent. So the service agent can, instead of going through all the large data, get a first impression on the use cases and the next steps which are necessary to solve that specific incident. So let me go to ServiceNow. So, and also for this agent, we will provide, so for every agent we are going to show you today, we are going to provide examples which you can just download and do it by yourself. So you get to understand the connector as well as how these agents work. So let me go to the incident module in ServiceNow, and I will create a new incident. And here you can see we have a field edit AI summary. And this is just demonstrative where you can add these capabilities. We are showing you in ServiceNow, but you can put it in Jira or any application of your choice, because the logic and the connectivity for the agents is outside of ServiceNow, outside of this platform. It's in MuleSoft. So that makes it more flexible and composed when implementing AI embedded capability. So let me first provide a title. And this incident is basically about high CPU usage on Chrome browser. So I will add a short description, and along the short description, I will also provide a couple of details, what I as a user am experiencing. So since a couple of updates, I'm experiencing a high response time and also high CPU usage in my main Chrome process. And I will submit this incident now. And when I open it, you will see almost probably in real time. Okay, that could be a demo level. Let me again click on update. It might take, so here it is. You can see almost in real time we get the description, the title, and additional information which are provided with the incident, like the status, like the urgency, are summarized into a short, crisp message for the service agent to quickly solve the incident by having, first of all, a summary. What is the incident about, and what could be potential next steps, because this is important now. So it says customers are experiencing high CPU usage in Chrome main process after some updates, and it impacts the computer performance. So next steps recommend how the customer can solve it by deleting cookies and cache and other stuff, and suggest customer to reach out to Chrome support. So now that's just a starter for this service agent to understand what's going on. So if somebody would now comment on this incident, and let me do it, somebody saw it and it says, okay, this looks like Visual Studio Code is running in Chrome. So that could be the issue, why the CPU is used so much. So I will post this comment, and immediately you will see that the AI summary is adjusted. And that's also very cool, because all the surroundings, there are comments happening, there are maybe files uploaded, there are additional information provided for an incident. And this AI summary field, which is fueled through the MuleChain AI Connector, is always keeping the last updated version for the service agent to focus on. And now we can see, okay, it looks like it is because of Visual Studio Code. And the next step is try running Visual Studio Code as a desktop version and not in the browser, and check if the performance is solved after that. So that's one example of an evented agent which has been built completely in the Anypoint platform. And let me show you the workflow in the Anypoint Studio. And that's actually the workflow which is currently running on my local machine. But you can see it's not different than any other application you are writing in MuleSoft. It contains the ServiceNow connector. You can see on new or updated records, the whole flow is triggered. And then we are using some transformation, saving some IDs, and so on. And here at the end, we can see that there is this MuleChain operation, which is basically assessing the information of the updated or newly created incident and summarizing it for the service agent in a way which is consumable. So the service agent becomes an understanding about the incident, but also suggesting on next steps. And that's actually what has been used here in the Mule app. You can see this ServiceNow incident agent is the project which I've created, and here is the connector. And the connector basically includes all the different operations which I can use now to build my agent workflows, my autonomous agents or AI agents within MuleSoft. So there are different operations. All those are well documented on the MuleChain.ai website. So I won't go through all of these. But now imagine this is the operation which I used to provide the summary to the service agent. And this operation or this workflow is done with OpenAI, right? And at some point, maybe there is the need that we switch as an organization from OpenAI to Mistral AI. And that's super easy to do. So first of all, I need to stop my app. And now I can do actually here in the processor where I'm utilizing the LLMs, I can simply switch into Mistral AI. And this Mistral AI type has been fully configured, so I won't show you, otherwise there is this API key, which will be highlighted here. But also the configuration is super simple to provide for Mistral AI or OpenAI. And after doing that switch, I can simply rerun the agent, save it, of course, and the whole agent is now fully supportive for Mistral AI. And when I do the same kind of creation of the incident, you will see it will behave slightly different because I did a mistake. Sorry, I need to stop again because I didn't focus here on the model name. This is also important. So along the configuration, this is currently not automatic. You have to take care about the modeling because GPT 3.5 is not part of Mistral AI. So I need to manually say, let's say we do here Mistral largest agent, and once the app is deployed, I need to again, sorry for that, stop it because now it's fully configured for Mistral. Let me check. Mistral is the configuration and the model name is also Mistral. Now I can rerun the agent, which was initially built for OpenAI. And while this is starting up, I can in parallel delete the incident which I created and wait for the app to be deployed before I create a new one. So now it's just a matter of time. It is loading all the configurations and deploying the agent locally. I didn't deploy it on Cloud Hub, would be maybe easier, but then the switch from between the LLMs would have been difficult to showcase. That's the reason why I've deployed it here in Studio only. So now the agent is deployed and I can rerun basically the same thing. And let me go back here and move it a bit up, copy the title, and we can enter the short description, copy the description itself and submit. We will see here something happened and all looks good. So let me now go back into ServiceNow and we can see this is the way. It's very similar because the prompt which has been defined for that specific operation is really concrete on the use case, what I'm expecting, but that's the result, what I'm receiving. And if I would comment, it's very similar behavior. Like I can do it here and the Visual Studio Code as a desktop version should basically be updated. And potentially I will see the new AI summary now here in a very similar format. If you take care about the language, the way it is written, it is slightly different. And you can see it's a different LLM model, which is active behind the scenes. So that was the very first demo we planned to showcase you how you can build simple embedded AI agents and capabilities into any application. This was just a demo on ServiceNow, and also the ability to switch between LLMs in a super easy and simple way. So the next demo will be around AI agent usage of tools, and that's what Michael described, the powerful capability, because you are already using MuleSoft in a composable manner, where you have composed your APIs to be published in Exchange. They are well documented. And these APIs that are well documented, we can hand over to our AI agents, which we are building. And here we have an example of one AI agent. We have built a front end, so it's really super simple, but imagine this could be anything you are building as a co-pilot within your organization. And this agent is also deployed in Cloud Hub. Let me also show you where it is running. So that's basically the agent. It's in Runtime Manager, deployed in Cloud Hub. We can see here the request, how the average time looks like, what are the number of requests on an average. So all those details are provided here. And now I can interact with the agent like I would interact with ChatGPT. So let me ask a question. What is the capital of Switzerland? So that should be pretty fast and simple. So it's no surprises here. But I could also ask the agent to check inventory for Mule test 0. So now it will, first of all, don't find the answer in the general available knowledge, but it will try to execute, and it actually had an issue executing the API which I provided, because it looks like it did not take the right number. So, however, there is a server error. Regardless, let me continue and later on we will execute it again and do another one. So because this agent, when you look here, has different keys, and one of those keys were checking SAP ECC inventory, which unfortunately failed, but we will come back to that. But it can also access data from S/4HANA, and let me do it here. So show additional details about maybe an order which I would like to receive here, and the order is 300. So order details from S/4HANA. Let me hit enter, and if the demo devil wants good with me, we should receive potentially the answer here. And let's wait for a second. And here we can see this is basically the answer which is provided by the AI agent. How did it do it? First of all, it didn't found knowledge about order 300 in its general available LLM. So you make use of the toolkit I provided to him. And this toolkit contained an API which was made for providing additional details for orders. So it used this API, executed the API against S/4HANA, and came up with this result. And if you go into S/4HANA, you can see actually these are the details about the order. So order 300, we have this is a postman test. We can see here advert test material dummy. We have the plant, we have the quantity, we have the material name. And all those informations are represented here. Advert test material dummy. We have the plant, we have the required date, the status, the material, the quantity, and so on. And let me retry again with the checking inventory. Sometimes it has some grounding issues. So let me retest it, check inventory for mule test 0. So now if everything works fine and it doesn't take the wrong format, it should be able to provide me the details about the inventory. And of course, as you saw, sometimes there might be something in the way of searching through the tools I've provided, and maybe a tool is not described in a well manner, then it may run into errors, which you have seen. But that's basically the quantity I received now for this specific material from ECC. And let me go into this ECC environment, and here you can see this is the material which I got, and here we have the quantity available for the material. And so that's what it used to get it. And the last demo which I wanted to show for this specific agent is about how you can even interact, because what we have seen so far were all APIs which were composed, published in Exchange, and available to that agent through that configuration file, which Michael showed. So now I would like to execute a RPA bot, which is also part of this tool configuration file. And this RPA bot orders laptop. So I can say here, order a laptop for, let's say we take Kiran Jot core, and we hit it. So what it will do, again, it will break down my request into pieces, try to understand if there is a public knowledge about what I'm trying to access here. And if there is no public knowledge, it will go back into the APIs and will provide me that specific order ID for the laptop ordering. And this is the ID I received, which I can follow up later on to check on the status for that specific order. And while we are talking, you can see in the background that this order is actually happening right now. It goes into a certain portal on the website and select the base laptop. And this laptop has been now put into the cart, and this card will be checked out. So you can see it has already extracted the laptop from my query, but it is also taking the name of the person which I wrote here and is ordering the laptop for this. Of course, this is a demo and it won't ever be received, but that's how you can use this autonomous AI agents together with all the Mule APIs you have built and composed in Exchange and make this agent even more powerful than what is available out of the box. So that's one of those. The last demo is actually about building a knowledge store. And here we are going to see RAG capabilities, or retrieval augmented generation, where we are going to use in-memory embedding store running in the Mule runtime to build a knowledge store. So what will happen is during that demo, I will use certain PDF file to ingest into the store, and I can ask a question which will then be taking the knowledge out from that in-memory store and answering the question. So that's basically the whole concept. And let me first of all start that app. So I need to shut down this app, close it, and open the app which is about the knowledge store. And let me quickly start that one so we can discuss these flows. So there are 3 flows available, we can see here. So the very first flow is just about creating a simple new blank embedding store in memory in the Mule runtime, and export it as a file and save it into a SFTP server, which we have created, and really communicate through that SFTP server. So everything which is running in memory, we keep persistent, even the app may crash, because we are exporting that knowledge into a file and then writing it to a SFTP server. That's the first flow. The second flow is to ingest knowledge. And the ingestion of the knowledge works whenever a new file is put on a certain location on my SFTP server. We download that file and we take that file, one second, how can I come back here? Okay, so we take that file and put it into the embedding store. So that knowledge, everything what is in that PDF file gets part of the AI knowledge. So whenever I have a question, it will use that certain knowledge and then answer the question. Once the file is ingested, again, we are exporting the file in as physical file into a SFTP store so we can reuse it. So that's the second flow. And the last flow is to ask questions. So I can ask a question about that PDF file and it will answer me using that knowledge which is in the embedding store. So let me show you the PDF file. And it's just a simple example of product capabilities. You can put maybe on a commerce site and allow your customers to search for certain features in a natural language, and it is able to find those products. So this is a product called MuleChain XY Pro. It's an audio device which has certain features which are listed here: noise cancelling. You have here 360-degree spatial audio, AI-powered smart assistant, and so on and so forth. And also why Mule TXY Pro is the best solution. So it has certain knowledge, certain information about that specific product, which I can use now to ingest into my knowledge store. So the app is deployed. We have seen it. It's running. That's fine. So my first thing is to create a new embedding store. So the embedding store I can simply create by calling that endpoint. And then I will ask a question about what is Mule TXY. So let me create, first of all, a new embedding store. It should just return empty entries, which is fine. So a new embedding store has been created. And we can see it has been exported even on the SFTP server. So I am now using FileZilla to see inside my SFTP server. So you can see I have 3 structures, 3 folders. The first one is the embedding. So whenever I put something into the knowledge store, the file will be created here. If I create a new knowledge store, the empty file is created on that location. Whenever new PDF files are ingested, it is always exported and overwritten on this location. The next 2 folders are just new. Here I can drop new PDF files, and once they are processed, they become available under the processed folder. So now what I will do is I will ingest a new file, which is here. And that file is actually the PDF file which I showed here about that product MuleTXY. So let me drag and drop it to, I think it should be under new. So I dropped it under new. So what will happen now in the background is this file is split into smaller chunks and ingested into the embedding store. And then the embedding store is overwritten with all the data which is in the file, and smaller entries are created in the embedding store, which represents a numeric representation of the text. So whenever I would like to query against that knowledge store, you can see the file is processed. And now I can ask, for instance, here, what is MuleTXY? So this is kind of, I'm chatting against that specific embedding store. And you can see it says that it's the latest innovation, audio technology, and so on. I can also ask, does MuleTXY Pro supports noise cancellation? Hit it, and now it will use the same knowledge to answer that question. Yes, it supports noise cancellation, because now the knowledge store is enriched with all the data I have ingested into. If I would ask a question without the data being ingested, so let me just overwrite the knowledge store. So now I'm emptying all the knowledge which has been in the knowledge store, and I can ask now again the question, what is MuleTXY Pro? It should say by the information which is provided, it is difficult to say what actually is. So it's not really clear what MuleTXY Pro is. Because I've deleted the knowledge inside the knowledge store, and it's now completely blank. So this is a way where you can use MuleSoft to build in-memory knowledge stores and provide it as a Mule runtime using the Anypoint platform. So, and that's actually the last demo which I was planning to do. And the next part is how you can get started using MuleChain AI Connector, and that will be explained by Michael. Over to you.
Yes, so I will take over the screen sharing again. Let me see if it works.
Yeah.
So, okay. So first of all, it will not take too long, maybe between 5 and 10 minutes. So in this next couple of minutes, I want to focus on, first of all, the documentation, our GitHub repository, how you as external developers, you can join the team, you can contribute, be part of the team. If you have great ideas, let us know how to reach out to us and so on. So I will start with our official website. So that's the website of MuleChain, which is mulechain.ai. It has a basic layout. The most important page in the end for you will be the documentation. So if I just click on Go to Docs, you will see here a summary of what has been presented to you today in this session, an introduction to the MuleChain project, the unique capabilities that we want to offer, or that the MuleChain Connector offers, the connector that has been released today, which is MuleChain.ai, and we have, of course, a couple of connectors work in progress, as already Amir has mentioned. One of those will be MuleChain Web Crawler, which is the next one. And then, of course, we have some future plans. We want to make sure that you also can contribute, join the team, and so on. And I will show you later how you can get involved. But just check out the website, go to the documentation. Maybe you will see some typos, maybe you will see some missing information. Just let us know and we will fix it immediately. So if you click on connectors and you see MuleChain AI, you will basically see again the most important information, how to get started. This is the section that explains you how you can get the connector, where you can download it, that you need to install it locally using Maven clean install, how you connect it to your Anypoint, to your MuleSoft application in Anypoint Studio, and then how to configure it. So we have basically already covered all that information today, but you can just go through the documentation step by step, download the connector, play around with it, and give us, of course, feedback. We also have a supported operations section, which you can see here. That's again the overview of all operations that are currently supported using the MuleChain connector. In total, it's 13, as you can see in this screenshot. And some of them belong to the agents. Some of them are chat or embeddings functionalities, image generation, which you have not seen today. We have RAG, sentiment analysis, which I also have already briefly discussed with the simple use case, and tools, which for me is the most exciting feature. So basically everything is here really nicely documented. And we also have a showcase. Okay, so we have our YouTube channel with multiple videos. You can just check them out, see the demos also from Amir, from AJ, from all other colleagues that have already created a couple of videos. And you can access them simply by just clicking on Showcase, or if you click on socials, you can see that we have a LinkedIn group. Most of you have already seen it, and we have the YouTube channel. So that's basically at the moment the only option if you want to reach out to us. What we are working on at the moment, hopefully this should be released by today. I will release a Contact Us tab or build a Contact Us tab so that you can just simply fill out the form and it will send a message to our Slack channel so that you can reach out to us in real time. We may also create a dedicated Slack channel where we can invite external people so that we have a group and we can chat in real time. I think that would be really, really useful so that we have this nice collaboration. Yeah, so that's the website, MuleChain.ai. Now, the GitHub repository for you to get started. You can just click on the GitHub icon. You will see that we have a MuleSoft project organization. So it's github.com/MuleChain-project. In total, there are 6 repositories, but most of them are, of course, private. The MuleChain connector itself is still private, as you can see here. So we will officially now make it public. So I will just go to settings and then make it visible, make it public for all of you so that you can basically contribute and work with the connector. So let me just copy paste this, click on make this repository public. And then hopefully it has been, I think it should be public already. So if I click now on the MuleChain project, repositories, we should see that the MuleChain AI Connector is public, exactly. So just so after the stream ends today, all the most important links will be added to the description of the video, also to the MuleChain AI Connector. There is also documentation added here in the repository. Of course, everything also is on the website. As I said, everything here is available for you. The MuleChain AI Connector is very important, of course, to get started. And we have the demos presented by Amir. They should already be, no, they're also private. Let's make them also public. So the example Mule applications, I will make them public now. And then you should also have access to the example applications, and you can simply use them. I think that should be already it. Let me go back to MuleChain Project, repositories. And that should be also public now, yes. So example Mule applications, if I click in the repository, you can see here the 3 folders created by Amir and the team, Jira, Bug Agents. Those are MuleSoft applications, so you can just download them, CD into the folder, import in Anypoint Studio, and you can work on it immediately. We have the knowledge store use case, we have the ServiceNow incident agent, so everything is here. And if you want to understand how exactly it works, how it has been configured, you can always go back to YouTube and check the videos that explain those demos step by step. All right, so now contribution, very important. If you go to the GitHub repository, the main one, you can see here again our main repositories that are mentioned here, the team behind it. Again, at the moment, it's a small team. We hope that the team will grow. So if you are interested, please reach out to us at the moment. Do it via LinkedIn or whatever is the best way for you to reach out to us. And the contribute section, which is nothing else than a link to our website. So here you can find step-by-step how you can contribute to the project. It's really simple, especially for the developers. You know exactly the process. Make sure just to go to the GitHub MuleChain repository, fork the repository, clone it locally on your machine, do whatever you want to do, implement new features. Maybe you say, okay, because at the moment no unit tests have been added to the connector, okay? So if you really love doing unit tests, if you're an expert, please feel free to add them. If you are done, or basically before you start developing, of course, you will create your own feature branch. That's the naming convention that we follow. We say feature / and then your feature name. Implement your changes, and when you are done, you can just publish it to your own repository and create a pull request. Okay, so when you create a pull request, which is also documented here in detail, we will receive an alert, we will check your codes, and then you will see if everything works fine, and we will merge it with our develop branch. Okay, because at the moment we have two main branches. It's the develop branch that is always up to date or contains the newest features, and the release branch or the master branch, let's say like this, that contains the releases and the official release from today. So if I again go to the MuleChain AI Connector and switch to the master branch, then you should see on the tags that we have one tag, which is our official release today, version 0.10, okay, with the operations that are currently supported. Exactly, so JDK 8 is a must at the moment, JDK 17 not supported, and so on. So feel free to contribute, to reach out to us, and I would say that was already it. Yes, basically on my part, and then I'm handing over back to AJ, to you. I will stop sharing.
Thanks, Neil. Just sharing my screen now. Thanks, Amir and Neil, for walking us through different demos and walking us through how to contribute in this open source project. I'll now talk about what's in it for you, right? So yes, we have made the repositories, the project public. So go and build those compelling use cases around generative AI, MuleChain. You can record it. You can share it with us. It will be uploaded on the MuleChain's YouTube channel. And you can also post it on LinkedIn, our LinkedIn group, mention one of your team members, and there is a prize in it for you as well, some dollar amount, which we will disclose later. And we will accept the submissions until 1st of September 2024. So definitely something in it for you to try the MuleChain project, the MuleChain AI connector, and build innovative things, exciting things. With that, we open the discussion for questions. So if you are on the YouTube channel, there's a live chat option. Please do use that to ask any questions you might have.
Awesome, Ajay.
Do we have any questions, Amir?
Let me check.
Yeah.
No, currently I don't see any questions, but in general, so the winning pricing part. So until when is it open and how is the format? So do we have kind of any limit on the size, duration of the use case? And also until when can the community submit use cases there?
So the competition is open till 1st of September. That's the deadline day. And you can submit anything. So there is no length kind of thing, but you should be able to summarize the use case in as little, short video, I would say, right? And then it's just about showing other things around the use case. So yeah, what your use case does and how it benefits or how it basically integrates other systems in your organization and all that. So that kind of, explaining the use case. So that kind of thing, I believe, should be enough. And then it's open till 1st of September. The length does not matter. We can upload the video on the YouTube channel. So there are no restrictions there for the length of the video for sure.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, Ajay. I see Jeroen is also now on camera. And comment, Jeroen, from your side before Michael?
Now, just encourage everybody to start experimenting with it, right? And give as much feedback as possible, because we're really interested to see what people are doing with it.
Absolutely. That's what we are really excited for, to see what you guys are doing. So start experimenting and share what you are building. Before any closing words from your side, because I think there are no questions, so that's all fine. We are going to promote the competition then on social media further.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as it's an open source project, we would request help from the wide MuleSoft community and developer community to contribute to the project and come up with the awesome ideas that you can. And as I mentioned, there is like a prize amount for doing that. So yeah, be creative and go ahead, create some great use cases, share it with us.
Good stuff. Thank you. Michael, any closing words?
No, not really. Exciting how this will evolve in the next couple of months and hopefully years. Have fun with the connector, and I would say enjoy the rest of the day.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.